Shalom Chavrim, I'm Steve DeNoon. You're watching DeNoon Institute of Biblical Research, and I hope this evening this little message will be a blessing to you. This is actually something I'm writing in the book called What Have Rabbis Missed? And it's one part of one of the chapters that I'm working on right now, and which I won't go into the issues of what it deals with, but there's something that I stumbled across as a result of Numbers chapter 13 verse 33, and this deals with the usage of the word Nephilim. And of course in the English language we have Nephilim in both cases, and there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, A-N-A-K, who come of the Nephilim. We were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so were we in their sight. That actually sounds kind of stupid, really, when you think about it in the English language. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who come of the Nephilim. The Nephilim did not come from the Nephilim. That's the first thing we should recognize. That's an error in itself. The Nephilim come from the Nephalim, which is from the fallen angels. And when I was actually speaking on this at the conference there in Oregon, Brad Hutkins and Steve Pigeon had approached me afterwards, and they had recognized the fact that there is a difference in the spelling. It's et Nephilim, he nun fe yod lamed yod mem. There's a yod here for the word Nephilim. But in the case of Enoch is from, they put the vowel point still as Nephilim, putting a little dot right up under the fe there to make it sound like Nephilim once again, but it doesn't make sense. The Nephilim, okay, and there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who come from the Nephilim. No, they don't come from the Nephilim, but instead they come from the Nephalim, which would be the fallen angels. And it only seems to make sense in this regards here. So the Talmudists that actually put these vowel points in were in error, because Moses clearly spelled it with a yod here without a yod here. So he intended you to have a different pronunciation for Nephilim versus Nephalim. So they should have a kamatz in there instead if you're going to put your vowels in, which the original Hebrew did not use vowels. That's something the Talmudists did, which in my opinion is very troubling, because it lets you know that the Talmudists are trying to give you a doctrinal point of view as they go. Now, oddly enough, when it comes to Genesis 6, most Orthodox Jews also agreed that the giants are the Nephilim, because Moses wrote it was a Nephilim. But they also, the Orthodox Jews, believe that the sons of God that are spoken of there are actually also part of the fallen angels. Okay? But when it comes to the theology in Christian circles, they believe the sons of God in most cases are part of what they call the Sethite doctrine, that the Seth's children were more pure and followed the godly line, whereas Cain's daughters did not, and therefore they fell for Cain's daughters and ended up having children by them. All right, so that's kind of like where those two different doctrines go to. But as a result of what happened over here in the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 33, and seeing clearly that Moses used a different spelling for the word Nephalim, which, like I said, the vowel points are incorrect, then we realize that Enoch himself was a son of one of the fallen angels, or at least that would be my conjecture in this particular case here. So as I was studying then over in Genesis, and of course the Hebrew version here on mechon-mamre.org, their website that I use, they, of course, translate the first word correctly. Instead of saying the giants like the King James Version puts in there, they put the Nephilim were in the earth in those days. Well, I say correctly, but not fully correctly, because again, they put Nephilim with the vowel points, assuming that it is Nephilim, the children of the fallen angels, but I beg to differ with that. Because if Moses in the book of Numbers intentionally spelled one with the extra yod, the other without the extra yod, which is, without the extra yod is right here, Nephalim, it should be Nephalim, and Nephilim, of course, with the extra yod, all right? And that extra yod, by the way, is, hang on, is right there. That yod, that letter yod, is not seen between the Fe and the Lamed down here in the next line. It's not there. So therefore, we know that Moses clearly identified the Nephalim, the fallen angels, separate from the children themselves, the Nephilim, with that extra yod there. All right, so that's where I can see that. So when I go back to Genesis 6 then, and let me pull this up in the King James Version. I think that would also be good to do because I really want to kind of make this point here so we can really understand it. Chapter 6, we're looking at verse 4. All right. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So it really, it almost doesn't seem to make sense. There are giants in the earth. Okay, you let us know there are giants in the earth. But also after that, after the fact there were already giants in the earth, then we have the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bear children to them. Why would Moses even write the fact that there's just the giants in the land? What does that got to do with anything? As the old saying goes, what does that got to do with the price of tea in China, right? Doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. All right? So, at any rate, I looked at this in the Hebrew, and of course, it became more apparent, right? Now, they put on there again, they put the Nephilim were in the earth in those days. But it actually, if you didn't have the vowel points there, we would actually read this, Hanephalim haya ba'aretz, okay, which means, and the fallen ones were on the earth. The fallen ones. Not the Nephilim, not Nephilim being the children of the fallen ones, just the fallen ones were on the earth. Not just like, oh, by the way, the giants are in the earth during that day. In other words, the children of the fallen ones. No, these are the fallen ones, period. The only thing that we don't have in there is we don't have the word angel. So Moses is not saying the fallen angels were in the earth in those days, but that's really what it actually is implying. The fallen angels were in the earth. Now it would make more sense in reading the rest of the passage. Beyamim chahem, okay, in those days, vegam acharei kin ashar yavo bnei Elohim et banot ha'adam. All right, and so then we have the sons of God came unto the daughters of men. Literally, it's the daughters of Adam. So for those of you that are looking more stringent on some of your own doctrinal issues about who's descendant of who, these daughters are Adam's descendants, directly from Adam's line, if you're looking at bloodline issues here. Depending on your doctrinal issues, I say that just to kind of make that clarification there, because I know there's different doctrines out there, and I'm not here to subscribe to one doctrine or the other. I'm just saying I'm mindful of those doctrines that people have. So the fallen ones were in the earth in those days. All right, that's how we would translate. And also after, v'gam acharei chin, see, and also after that, when the sons of God, ashar can be translated all kinds of ways. When this it literally says, when came them, the sons of God, bnei Elohim, to el banot ha'adam, to the daughters of Adam. Ve'yaladu lahem, and they had children with them. All right? That clearly is identifying it's the fallen angels that are those sons of God. Now, some might argue and say an angel can't be a son of God. That just isn't possible, Steve. Well, let me prove to you from the book of Revelation that it is very much true and very much realistic. In Revelation chapter 22 and verse 9, all right, I'm going to read back up just a little bit, right? Let's go to verse 4. And they shall, well, let's start verse 1. And he showed me a pure river, this is an angel speaking to John, of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. And in the midst of the street of it, on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. And he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true. The Lord God of the holy prophets sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly come. Shortly be done. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of this prophecy of this book. And I, John, saw these things, and I heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then saith he unto me, who? The angel. See thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of whom which keep the sayings of this book worship God. An angel is a brother and a prophet. Well, if he's one of the brethren, that would also make him a son. An angel can be a son as well. And of course, the children of Israel were referred to as the sons of God. So can the angel be referred to as a son of God if he's your brother? Think about it. So, if we look at this then, Genesis clearly shows us that the fallen angels were already in the earth. That's what we're seeing. The fallen angels were already there. And after that, see? But it doesn't actually say after that. It says, Vegam achare, and also after this, when they came, that's really what it says, when they came, the sons of God to the daughters of Adam, they bear children. See? And also afterwards, when they came, the sons of God. That's literally showing you the antecedent is the Nephilim, the antecedent to the sons of God. When they came, the sons of God, now he's calling those fallen angels sons of God, they came to the daughters of Adam, and they bear children unto them. Now we know, Genesis 6, he's referring to the fallen angels as the sons of God. I just thought I'd share something like that with you, a little different. And if you look in the book, if you were to read that book right now, you know, if you had that in your possession already, you'd understand why I am really focused on this, because I really go in to what is going on in modern days. Again, it's things that rabbis have missed, but it's also things that the ministers have missed as well. So I might play around with that title a little bit. That'll probably be the main part of the title, what have rabbis missed, but maybe as a subtitle there, I might have something about, and pastors have overlooked, something of that nature there. Trust it's a blessing for you. Thank you. Thank you for watching this broadcast, and please consider supporting the broadcast as well. We normally put right up underneath the screen our address, but I decided to also put it on the screen for when we do our live shots there. You can support us, Stephen DeNoon, 8297 Champions Gate Boulevard, number 442, Champions Gate, Florida 33896. Your support of this broadcast is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for your help.